So up next, we have Caduceus Club, and we have Casey from Caduceus Club. Casey, you could state your full name and your position, please.
Yeah, hi. My name is Casey Chantra-Panichkul, and I'm currently the new president of Caduceus Club.
All right. And for students who are unfamiliar with Caduceus as a term or maybe the definition of it or what it stands for, could you maybe go ahead and clarify your club's purpose or mission?
Yeah, so Caduceus Club is Pasadena City College's pre-medical club. We help to essentially expose and give our club members ways and avenues to find out a little bit more about the medical and pre-medical jobs, as well as professions. We typically try to bring in guest speakers who can speak about the professions in the medical society, especially given now that with the pandemic from 2020 and 2021, we now know that it's a very needed profession, whether or not be at the hospital or local level with nursing, or even at the national, international levels with virologists and even the WHO working to make sure that we can keep this pandemic contained.
Yeah, and I think that's super important for people to get an insight into what's going on right now with that. But also the fact that I appreciate that your club provides a pathway and connections from the classroom to real life working professionals, because I know a lot of times we're kind of in our classes and we're deep into it and it's a little abstract to think about that down the line. Uh, but with that said, could you maybe then point to if students are interested in medical profession or even if they're not, why they should join your club?
Yeah, so Caduceus, we try to give as many ways and opportunities for you to experience it in person. One thing that we like to typically do is go to medical conferences, medical conventions. This was a really good way to kind of really dive deep into what medical fields you could have done, the hands-on experience. Being virtual now, we won't be able to have that aspect, but still through Zoom meetings, we try to give as much as we can the ways in which people can come talk to us about, hey, what do I do in my daily life? What does my job look like? Just so that you're not thinking like, oh, a doctor just takes care of people. There's a little bit more personal feeling and more sentiment attached to it, just so it's not just a job title.
Yeah, and I appreciate that your club kind of expands on that multifaceted profession that is being a doctor, and to educate, I think, maybe some students out there who maybe are not even interested in the medical profession, just to give a perspective on that. Um, with that said, could you maybe go ahead and then point to a specific schedule of when your club plans to meet for this semester?
Yeah, so typically we have meetings Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. And in a given semester, we have about 4 to 6 meetings. As of right now, we're having a little reshuffling in our schedule, but it'll still be 4 to 6 meetings per semester at Thursdays from 12 to 1 p.m.
Okay. And like you said, there's been a lot of challenges lately with the pandemic and going remote. But even just a little bit of a brainstorm is okay. Do you have any events or opportunities that you want to highlight and present to students that you're going to do for spring?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, one of the things we loved doing was bringing our club members to medical conferences at UCs or other universities. With everything now being online and virtual, that has halted, but even some universities, for example, like University of California, Los Angeles, they still try to do it virtually, their MedPep, which is in the fall. So we're gonna try to connect our club members with those virtual conferences as much as we can. In addition to that, we're gonna bring in professionals in their fields to talk through Zoom meetings about what they've been experiencing in their daily life since the pandemic happened.
Mhm.
And anywhere we can, we send out in our newsletter experiences that club members can go to get their experience in that event.
Awesome. And for students who want to connect with you, I'm assuming they go ahead and go to your Lancer Life page for that.
Yeah. So on our Lancer Life, we have our club website, which we are currently redoing. Our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook is also on there. So everything that you would possibly need to connect to us, you can head to Lancer Life for that.
Awesome. Well, that's been it. It was a pleasure talking to you, Casey. Thank you for your time and thank you for representing Caduceus Club.
Yeah. Thank you, Christopher.
All right, so up next we have Lancer Motorsports and we have Monica from Lancer Motorsports. So Monica, if you could state your full name and your position in the club, please.
Hi, so my name is Monica Campos, and I'm currently the treasurer in Lancer Motorsports.
Okay, and I know that name implies a lot of things, but I know what it means. But if you could kind of express to students what your club's purpose is and what maybe its mission and what it does.
Okay, so Lancer Motorsports is a collaboration we have going on with Caltech Racing to pretty much build an electric vehicle for Formula SAE Electric. So we work together with Caltech students to build this car from pretty much conception, so designing it, to modeling it, to fabricating it, and hopefully one day getting to drive it. This is our, don't quote me on this, but this is PCC's third year collaborating with Caltech Racing. Sadly, this year we don't get to build a car like in person, but we have been able to model it, and we will be going to competitions within the next month.
I think that's amazing. I mean, Caltech are our neighbors to the south. So, it's great that I think we are investing in our local resources here. And really, for any students who are interested in engineering or any other STEM career, this is really a great and unique club. I mean, I cannot find another club anywhere else that's kind of like this at a community college.
It
So,
has been a
um,
lot of fun, and we do cater. We also do a lot of business. That's something that's always on the down low, but that is something that we do cater to as well. Obviously, major like also STEM, engineering specifically or computer science. But we do have a great business guy from our side on PCC that's been helping out greatly on the Caltech side, because
mhm.
Caltech sadly didn't have a business person this year because they're also all
Yeah.
science nerds. But like we do business, we also do like computer, like not computer design, like website design, because we've been helping out with that too. So there's always something for every major to do, which is something that we try to like broach more, inviting different majors, not just engineering or STEM, because we have a little bit of everything.
Okay, yeah, I definitely appreciate you talking about that inclusivity with everyone that can do something for your club. I think we kind of already answered this, but if you can maybe give one reason or a couple reasons of why students should join your club, particularly maybe for this semester, because I know you said the main focus of the club is to build a car, but you can't do that this semester. So what are you planning to do in spite of that, and why should students join your club?
So our club is growing a lot more. In previous years, it has been a very small club, both PCC and Caltech side. We've gotten a lot new members this year, so that's really given us the opportunity to be able to expand our reaches within the automotive industry.
Mhm.
So currently, we are working on an electric vehicle that is our main vehicle, but we're also now working on an autonomous vehicle. So
Mm.
it's self-driving. So that's a new part of the club that I haven't been able to work on. But that's something that's going to need a lot more help as well. And yeah, while we're not being able to physically build a vehicle, we are doing all the modeling still. So we're using computer aided design programs to still build it. So everyone still has their responsibilities. So it's really awesome still. Like you don't get the hands-on work, but you do get the hands-on work in the modeling. And
Mhm.
that can be a big help, especially just, learning it. Um, and for to answer more about why people should join, it's still a really good community to be a part of. I know it can be a bit intimidating. It definitely was for me to join this club, and then you're like, hey, you're working with Caltech students. That's a little scary, but it's a really good community, like of just people that want to help out and people that want to hang out. And if you have any questions, just any questions whatsoever, not even like car related, we're always there to help. And especially like if you feel lost, like if you're in a project that you don't know what the heck's going on, hey, we can always help out, because we all started off at that place where we were all clueless, and I'm still asking for help. I am still asking for help to this day. So it's honestly been such a relief to get these responsibilities, but also not feel the pressure of having to go with them 100% of the way to be perfect. It's great to be able to ask for help and have that community to just be able to be there to help out too.
Great, awesome. So if you could kind of give students a schedule of when your club is going to meet for the semester.
So we're gonna start meeting. I was should have probably grabbed the date. So not the first week of classes, but the second week of classes on Tuesday. And then we'll be meeting every other Tuesday after that, hopefully. Obviously, if there are changes, we'll make people aware of that. And then we hope to be able to maybe host some study sessions where we could just get together and study, because that's been a great help, especially for, online learning right now, because you don't have that community that you used to have in person. So we're hoping to do that as well.
Okay. And if you kind of wrap this up for us here, are there any specific events or workshops that you can point to that you plan on doing in the spring for students?
So we always have workshops that demonstrate how to kind of like the basics of 3D modeling. So we use a
Mhm.
program called SolidWorks. So we run you through the basics of trying to figure that out. We'll also do workshops where we kind of explain the subsystems that go into making these cars. So maybe you can see, hey, I'm interested in joining, the frame subsystem. I think it's really cool. Then you can be more introduced to that. We also do, hopefully we'll have a MATLAB little like meeting so we can learn that too, because I don't even know how to do that, so I always learn doing like all these little meetings. So those are currently our main ones. Hopefully we might be able to do some events. I know a lot of places are kind of starting to do like track meets or stuff like that, so we'll see how stuff goes once we know more.
Okay, awesome. Sounds really fun and exciting. So, for students here who are interested in the club, you can always visit their Lancer Life page, as with any other club we have here on campus, and connect with them. Thank you, Monica, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so up next we have Psychology Club, and from Psychology Club we have Felicius. So, Felicius, if you could state your full name and your position in the club for us, please.
Hi, so my name is Felicia Sui, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for Psychology Club.
All right, thank you so much, Felicius. So I know it's kind of built into the name already of the club, but could you go ahead and maybe expand on Psychology Club's purpose or mission for us?
Of course, so I actually have a presentation prepared to help visualize. And so our purpose and mission at the PCC Psychology Club is to build leadership/communication skills. And the way we do that is we hold officer positions where we get to organize virtual events, promote community service, internships, and other shadowing opportunities. And we also want to expand student understanding and knowledge of psychology, as well as promote awareness/discussions of the field in our meetings.
All right. So with that said, could you maybe point to one or two concrete reasons of why you believe students should be a part of Psychology Club?
Okay, so we actually have way more than two concrete reasons. And so here are four reasons why you should join. So the club is not limited to psychology majors. So if you just have a general interest in psychology, you can join. Like I said earlier, you can also gain leadership skills as well as gain compassion. And we also allow access to our members for remote community service/internship opportunities, even during this time. And you might be wondering what Psi Beta is. And so I'll tell you what Psi Beta is. So Psi Beta is a national honor society for two-year college students. And as for benefits, you get to include on transcripts such resumes, you get access to scholarships/national award competitions, and you have the opportunity to gain research experience and meet psychology professionals in your organization.
Yeah, thank you for so much for highlighting Psi Beta. I think it's really great that your club provides an avenue and pathway towards these super great opportunities that I think all college students should be aware of. Uh, with that said, could you maybe go ahead and talk about when your club plans to meet, if it has any schedule for the semester for students?
Of course. So we meet every other Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. And our first meeting is going to be on March 2nd, where we're going to have a short film screening as well as group discussions. And in the future, you can look out for meetings where we feature guest speakers, career panels, and more. And you can expect faculty members, clinical therapists, social workers, human resource managers, and even criminal psychologists, just to name a few examples.
All right, thank you for that. I know you said here that generally what your future events are going to be like, but can you maybe go ahead and highlight a signature event that's coming up that you're really, Psychology Club is proud to be a part of?
Oh, of course. So one future event that you should be looking out for is we're going to be having two guest speakers who are sexual assault survivors coming from RAIN to help share their stories during April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So if you want to come and hear the stories out and gain a bit more understanding into how psychology plays a role in that, you should come and visit.
All right, thank you so much, Felicius, for that. Felicius, are there any ways that students can reach out to you on any particular social media platforms that you want to highlight to
Of
close us
course.
out?
So if you're interested in joining, you can contact us through these three ways. You can email us, you can follow us on Instagram and send us a message, or join Lancer Life where you can get updates on any future events.
All right, thank you so much. And again, for students who are interested in Psychology Club, you can find all of their information, including their social media handles, on Lancer Life, as with all of our other clubs on campus. But that has been Felicia's from Psychology Club. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we have SHIP, and the acronym escapes me here, but that's all right. We have Daphne Flores from SHIP. Daphne, can you state your full name, the position in your club, and the club's name for us, please?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Daphne Flores. I am currently SHIP's ICC representative. SHIP does stand for Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
There you go. Okay. And so can you maybe dive into a little bit more about what SHIP does and its mission or purpose?
Yeah, of course. So here I have our main page, which is what we have to both communicate with students and kind of promote our club, especially during, coronavirus pandemic. So here's just an introduction of what SHIP is, right? So our mission is to create a diverse, supportive, and professional building environment that raises awareness of minorities in the field of STEM. So we do offer training, mentorship, and programming for our vibrant community. And I know the acronym, and I want to emphasize this, says for Hispanic professional engineers, but we have all ethnicities. That's just because this is just one regional chapter at the Pasadena location, but it's part of a bigger organization, right? So we just want to make sure like that's out there.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Daphne. And so with that said, could you maybe, I think maybe you touched on this before, being a nationwide or region-wide sort of organization, but why should students join your club?
So I think what SHIP has to offer to students is that by going to certain conferences or even introducing the idea of building a resume, professional development that includes um, maybe a mock interview, connecting with professionals, networking, right? Because I think networking is super important in any field you go to.
Mhm.
So we have access to all of that through our organization and through partnerships we have with communities on campus. And we get to introduce students to big companies, right? So whether you're trying to, we've had students in the past get internships with Boeing Company, with Lockheed Martin, with Amazon, big companies, and they're big names with NASA. So it's not just you're getting a foot in the door and you're getting introduced to maybe what you could have been introduced to until you're at a four-year university. You're getting that experience here at the community college. So by the time you transfer out, you're like, I know how to go about this. Let's go right to it.
Okay, that sounds great. I think networking also is super important. And I think coming out of this pandemic, a lot of college students are maybe going to have a harder time finding jobs just because we're not really social in the classroom. So with that said, I know you said SHIP has some networking opportunities, some internship opportunities that you provide. With that, can you maybe talk about maybe a pathway to that with some of the events that you're planning for spring?
Yes, of course. So for this spring, we have this conference that's called RLDC. So it goes by region, but it's a regional leadership development conference. And that kind of just emphasizes on how we can be better as a chapter. And it kind of correlates to the same idea as our national conference that was back in the fall. And the way we prepare students for this is by going through a process of resume building, such as these right here. We have resume building, we have mock interview and elevator pitches, because you're going to be talking to professionals and you want to know how to network with them and how to brand yourself. as well as building a LinkedIn page. During the pandemic, that's how you connect with professionals. It's
Mhm.
like the Facebook for professionals, right? So we want to make sure your page is polished. And just learning how to network, learning how to navigate, not being intimidated by career professionals. And aside from that, we also have, movie nights. So it's not all business.
Yeah,
It's not all just work, right? We
right.
try to have business nights. We had a Halloween movie night. We had Christmas nights, and sometimes we even make it like every Friday of the month, just to kind of, take take a break, right? Some
Right.
medical care. And I think what's important here is that we all try to get together as a familia, so a family, right? It's
Mhm.
not just here, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, no, we try to do it together.
Okay. I think all of that sounds super enticing. So for students who are interested, can you talk about when you meet and how often you meet?
Yes. So right now, we're subject to meeting Tuesdays between the times of 12 to 1, just as we would on campus.
Hmm.
But those are for general meetings. Certain events times do vary, and we communicate those through our Lancer Life page as well as our social media platforms. On Instagram, we're mostly active, and we also, do email blasts. So I think as far as like professional events or movie nights, we try to communicate with our members through those platforms.
Okay. Thank you so much, Daphne. And I will say for students who want to connect on with SHIP on different platforms, that information is available on their Lancer Life page. Um, and yeah, I mean, for students who are interested in getting your foot in the door for all of these great opportunities, this sounds like the club for you. So join SHIP. Thank you so much, Daphne.
Thank you.
We have up next Pi Club, and we have Venus. Venus, could you state your full name and your position in the club?
Hi, my name is Venus Nguyen, a sophomore at PCC. I'm the president of the Pi Club.
Okay. And I think it's a little bit self-explanatory because of your club's name, Pi Club. But could you maybe expand on your club's purpose and mission?
Yeah, sure. So, Pi Club holds a various workshop to enhance students' mathematics learning, help students prepare for the American Mathematical Association for 2 years colleges competition,
Mhm.
and some undergrad research as well as internship. We hold PCC Pi Day conference annually to encourage students to expose to real-life mathematical applications. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's great because I'm not so good at math myself. But I think the reason why I'm not so good at math is because I don't really like connect my concepts that I learn with the application in real life. So I think that's really cool that, yeah,
Yeah,
you all do that.
we feel that. That's why we're here to help.
So that is a good segue into our next question here, which is why students should join your club. Either because they're good at math or they're bad at math. I mean, what do you think?
So it doesn't matter really, like
Okay.
what we really encourage people to um, join our club within that environment is because students can be in a study group that promote learning habit and mindset. So we have each other out. So it's not that you have to be good in math to join Pi Club.
Mhm.
We have each other, and join Pine, you also have an opportunity to connect the network while attending events or workshop, preparing for internship. And we also hope that we are gonna be the base to support students to keep the fire burning inside them, so
Mhm.
that like we all have the confidence, have fun, and have a memorable experience while studying STEM together, specifically math.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds great. I think it's really awesome that your club is inclusive of all skill levels. So could you maybe talk a little bit about when your club is going to meet for spring and any events that it has planned?
Oh, yes. So, our club gonna have a weekly meeting, and we also have a weekly study night where people get on Zoom and study together. We want to create a place in which people can meet, get to know more about each another, support, help each other on their way to pursue STEM.
Mhm.
And beside all of that, our highlight this spring will be our annually Pi Day conference, which is coming up on March 14th. We have been preparing for this event since last month. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Do you have any flyers or anything you want to show about that event that you have coming up?
Yeah, sure. So I can share my screen right now.
Okay.
So now you can see that when you go to Pasadena.edu, and when you
Mhm.
go to the find function, you can click Pi
Mhm.
Day. And when you find the page, here's the page that we got. Um, you can click here to register to join Pi Day. And
Okay.
yeah, and then within the page, there's also some information and the poster we got uh, from previous year event.
Okay, that sounds great. So with that said, for students who are interested in joining, I think Pi Club is a great opportunity to get help with math and to freshen up your skills and to network with other students. Is that a good summary of what Pi Club does?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, Venus, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here as well. Come join us, guys.
Yes, join Pi Club. You can find him on LancerLife, just like all the other clubs we have here on campus. All right, so up next we have here SACNAS, and we have Ashley from SACNAS. Ashley, if you could state your full name and your position in the club, please.
My name is Ashley Munoz, and I am the club president.
Okay, Ashley, and could you maybe go ahead and spell out what SACNAS stands for, the acronym, and maybe talk about its purpose or mission?
Yeah, so SACNA stands for the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos and Native Americans in Science. And it's an organization devoted to helping those that are underrepresented. And it's actually a national organization that has chapters in various colleges and in different universities. And although our name says Chicanos and Native Americans, we are open to all students, and we just hope to provide them with skills and resources necessary for success, as well as that helps them in their academic and professional goals.
Awesome. And again, I appreciate all these clubs out there, especially a club like yours that goes ahead and advocates and tries to represent underrepresented populations here on campus, such as Hispanics and Native Americans. So with that said, I think maybe we've gone over it already, but if you can maybe give students one or two reasons why they should join your club.
So SACNAS is, I feel like it's just a safe place for us. It's a place for people to feel united, as well as meet new people that are doing the same field as you, especially because being in such a career or academic major, you kind of feel underrepresented and you may have imposter syndrome. And if there's people that are there that feel similar to you, you guys can talk about your experiences and share it, and maybe it'll help you guys overcome it.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think at some point, especially in the field of STEM, because there's so few minority leaders or members of that degree, I think at some point, yeah, we can feel imposter syndrome. And I do appreciate that your club kind of addresses that. So with that said, do you have maybe a schedule that students can have of when you plan to meet and how often you want to meet this semester?
Yeah, so we understand that you are taking a lot of classes. You know, me as president as well as my vice president, we're taking like three 5-unit classes in one semester. So we plan on just meeting the first Thursday of the month, and throughout the weeks we will send you guys out emails if we get more information and resources. And we also plan on having like office hour type meetings wherein if you have any additional questions, you can just go ahead and email us and we can schedule a meeting personally, just talking about other opportunities that you may be able to get.
Awesome. And I think that's great that you bring that personal touch to any concerns that people might have. So to that, I know we talked about maybe your meeting format for this semester, but can you point to any specific, even just a brainstorm is okay, any specific events or opportunities that you want students to know about for this semester?
So as of right now, we don't really have any specific big events that we have for the spring, just because we get most of our information from other SACNAS organizations throughout different universities. So depending on what they want, they can invite us and we would just ask our members if they would like to attend. And normally the biggest event that we do have for SACNAS is in the fall semester, but we can prep the members right now for the fall semester conference that is worldwide.
Okay, awesome. And just because we have a little bit of time here, not to throw you an extra question, but can you maybe, talk about your experience with SACNAS and how you came to be a part of the club and how you were involved enough to want to step up and become a club officer?
Okay. So my brother was actually the person to start the club like a few years ago, and I joined first initially because my chemistry professor, Dr. Swaymer, she was actually the one to talk about the conference, and my brother went to the conference, and it was so interesting because the people who were attending when I attended the first meeting, they were talking about how there's just these normal people that are there, but they were able to meet doctors, like scientists, and they were able to see different researches that other people have done. And it was very interesting because when you come into school or college, you don't really know if you want to do research until you find what you're motivated about or what you're inspired by. And I feel like just being able to like collaborate and to be introduced to these type of things can really help you in the direction that you want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, I want to be a doctor, but if I wanted to do PhD, MD route, you wouldn't know until you're able to be introduced to it. So I think that it was very inspiring for me to see like the different things that can be done with your degree.
Right. I think that's wonderful that your club kind of shatters that glass ceiling of like there's class and then there's life after class, and deciding if what you want to do is eventually what your job is going to be, and I think that's super important for a lot of students. And so for any of those out there who I guess even want to network, SACNAS is a great opportunity for you to do that. And again, I think that's pretty amazing that your brother started this club and you're continuing this lineage. But yeah, I mean, Ashley, thank you for your time. And for any clubs out there or for any students out there who are interested, you can find more information on their LancerLife page as with any other club we have here on campus. So Ashley, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.